Welcome to Crotoni Entertainment. I'm Chris.
I'm Bree.
And I'm finally finishing the Omega Rangers.
Oh, but this one, I don't like what they did to Kiya.
Get a whole bunch of blues and a purple. Doesn't matter what they are. Whatever brand you like the best. Get a bunch of blues and purple because we're doing our kind of faux wet blending that we did on the Hero Quest Mini. Get a bunch of brushes. Several of them. Get a lineup of brushes. It's going to make it a little bit easier on you.
Okay.
What I did, and it's not on the camera, but what I did is I took my palette and I put one of these colors, one of each of the colors in its own individual well, and I put a lot of water in there with it. So this is extremely watery. Starting at the top, working our way down, the absolute brightest blue. If you watched the Hero Quest video with the other wizard, I think I called the video the other wizard. If you watched the video with the other wizard, the alternate scope, the one that came with the mythic tier, this is basically the same thing. It's a faux wet blend. This is not a super professional wet blend, but it's a quick and easy wet blend that you can cheat your way into a great looking miniature. So leave a little color gap space between your colors, kind of like we did on the back of this cape here, and just progressively get darker as you go. And then once you have kind of the full height of the next color of blue, kind of the full stretch of it, then you're going to take your brush while both paints are still wet. And if you need to put more water on your brush, do it. Then you're going to start vertically just dragging the colors into each other. If you're finding that the color, if you're starting at the top and going down and you're finding that's overpowering the lower color, change your brush direction from the bottom and go up. And then that'll kind of start mixing them together and you'll get a relatively smooth transition. Will it be the smoothest wet blend? Absolutely not. There are way better wet blends out there, but this is going to be a great cheating wet blend for the everyman painter.
Yay!
This right here is the reason, one of the two reasons, because I was asked about this. I think it was Kyle who asked me about this. One of the two reasons I did not do the Omegas with Kiya is this cloak. I wanted to take some extra time. I wanted to showcase this cloak. That said, I would honestly sacrifice the Solar Purple Ranger out of the Rangers United box in favor of Kiya, a good version of Kiya.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I think the Solar Purple Rangers model is awesome. We already did a video on it. I don't know a whole lot about the Solar Rangers. I didn't really read that particular arc of the comic, but people seem to like them. I just think the Solar Rangers, if they're going to come into play, should really be their own box. But I think there's like 6 or 7 of them, so maybe that's why they put one here to make it easier to do a 5-man box later. But I think it's a missed opportunity to not have a good Kiya, and it might be because, I got to assume production on these things starts pretty early, so it's entirely possible that Renegade had a key in that Kiya was not going to stay the Omega Blue Ranger. Spoiler alert. If you bought this box, you know it's a spoiler because you know she's a boss. Maybe it's because Renegade knew that she wasn't going to stay a good Ranger, so they just wanted to make her a boss and make it easy. Maybe they even had inside information that Yale was going to be the next Omega Blue Ranger.
He's so cute.
I don't like that name. I prefer to think it was Yale. I don't know why. It just feels more alien cat than Yale.
So I
think it was Yale. Anyway, and I know why Yale was not the Omega Blue Ranger in the Rangers United box because I don't think that actually dropped in the comics by that point.
I think it
was starting to come into the previews, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. So anyway, you're going to keep going down your darker blues. The final one is going to be your purple, because if you look at the comic book images of Kiya as wearing the Blue Emissary's cape, that's where she got this from. I know you didn't actually read that arc. When she killed the Blue Emissary, she took his cape.
That's a boss move right there. Yeah, that's all sorts of girl boss moves.
It's pretty banging until Trini just kicks the snot out of her. Which is actually good because there's so much like developing friendship between Trini and Kiya, and then it's Trini who's like she knows where to find where Kiya is kind of leading her assault from because of their conversations together. It's a good story. The Necessary Evil arc is a really good arc of Power Rangers.
I did read that one.
You read that particular issue?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a really good run of Ranger stories. Omega Ranger is still my new favorite Ranger. I really hope they're going to continue forward. If we were told in Power Rangers 16 they're not going to continue forward, they're going to shift focus, I'm going to be very sad. I don't know. My Power Rangers 16 didn't come in. They didn't put it in my file, and they sold out of it.
And no spoilers, y'all.
And I'm not bitter about it at all.
That he's mentioned it in almost every Power Rangers video that we've made.
I didn't mention it in the Morphin Grid, did I? I might have.
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I said Power Rangers Universe wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But I think it was a missed opportunity to have a hero Kiya. And maybe it's because there was so little run of hero Kiya. We didn't really have a good deck of cards we could make for her. I don't know why we don't have a hero Kiya. I am really tempted. I have temptations to buy repeat boxes to make new models. I've held off on it because, new product trumps replacement product.
Yes. And also
I've been really, who cares about that? I have hobby budgets, and I could put my hobby budget money towards a duplicate box that I do something with. And who knows if
then we can't buy the new hotness.
But that's why I haven't done it yet, because it's like, okay, do I get that extra Rangers United box to do some things,
right?
Or do I get some new Star Wars Legion stuff and put it together?
Right.
Or do we get that new D&D book you've been eyeballing?
Oh,
and every single time
there's one out too.
Is there one out?
Yes.
So that's the stuff that ends up beating it out. But eventually, I would love to get another Rangers United box, and I would love to cannibalize Kiya and Trini and make a good version of Kiya, if only to put in our Age of Grid games.
Yeah.
So anyway, you got your faux blend going on here. When that's all done, it's time to get into the Omega Ranger proper. I don't know why I put the still photo of that in there. It doesn't matter. So here's where the fun begins. That is not the fun begins. I lied. This is where we put some faux shading in here.
Faux shading?
So in the
So
in the deepest grooves of this cloak, we're doing just our blue magic from from Vallejo. You can use any blue you want. You're just trying to create some depth in the very deepest recesses of the cloak. So no big deal there. And then just do any touch-ups that you need to do, because you're using a lot of wet paint, and in this case, on a PVC plastic, extremely watered-down paint. Sometimes you'll get some of the undercoat showing through.
Yeah.
Any touch-ups you need to do, this is the stage you're going to do them out. Nothing super exciting here. I keep coming back to Good Guy Kiya because I really liked Good Guy Kiya. I thought she was a cool potential. She had a tragic backstory. It was potentially going to go a really, really cool direction. Having a character with that tragic of a backstory, I think, could have elevated the Omega Rangers.
Yeah.
I think the Omega Rangers were a little bit elevated anyway, because all of them were dealing with very unique circumstances. Jason was coming to terms with having to effectively betray Zordon because he didn't feel Zordon had the best interest of the entire universe at heart. Zach, who's treated as comic relief in a lot of the Go-Go and Mighty Morphin line, all of a sudden, he has some dark moments. Trini definitely steps up ever since the color swap issues, which is another reason I would love to get my hands on multiple more boxes of the core set, because I want to do the color swap. I want to do a metallic Billy. I've got a plan for an extra Mighty Morphin Jason, because I couldn't use the Rocky for it because he's a different scale.
Yeah.
All of this kind of comes into play. So I just did something that you didn't actually see. I put the two paints up on the screen here. I took a deep sky blue and I took a blue green, and I mixed them together in a 3-to-1 ratio. Now, this is where Vallejos are great, because they're in dropper bottles, so you can measure them pretty well while the dogs tap dance in the background. Because Kiya's blue is a more unique Ranger blue than any blue we've seen. And Bree is fighting with the dogs because they're fighting with each other.
No, they're trying to tear apart their blanket.
So Kiya's blue is a unique Ranger blue that's unlike any other Ranger.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's got an almost aquamarine quality to it, but it's not that deep. So I mixed 3 parts deep sky blue with 1 part blue-green from Vallejo, and I think I landed on the absolute perfect shade of Kiya blue. I am so happy with this shade of Kiya blue. It's ridiculous.
There you go.
So,
yay, Kiya blue.
And again, doing the Vallejo, I've got the drop bottle so I can measure. Now the dogs are attacking each other. We have a blanket down on the floor here in the game room where we record, and they are currently apparently having territorial battles over that blanket. And Bree is not with us at all at the moment.
I'm with us. I'm being a dog mom.
So she's being a dog mom right now. But it's okay, because nothing interesting is going on here. We're just talking about how much I enjoy the potential of Kiya as a character.
Yeah.
I don't know how much potential Yale brings to the table.
He's a kitty.
That's
He's
what I'm saying.
Giant kitty. I love him.
I think that's what they hinged on. He was like Dexstar from
I love Dexstar
from
too.
DC Comics, who became a Red Lantern.
Yes, he did, because he was so sad that his human died. While
Dexstar had a tragic backstory, and while Dexstar became a Red Lantern, there wasn't really much left to do with Dexstar after that. And I suspect we're going to have a similar problem with Yale. While Yale was a cool mascot to bring in, and while we got Yale's tragic backstory revealed to us already, I don't know how much more Yale can grow with the inability to really communicate with the other.
No, but that's the thing, is they're learning to communicate with him.
I'm worried about it. Anytime you do that with an animal mascot, it's hard to keep the story going in a long-term, interesting way. So I'm concerned about it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nuln Oil. I am going to now ruin all this blue that we did.
All your blue that you worked so hard on, now you're going to be like...
Well, we want to put depth in. And if you don't want depth and you don't want definition in your model, you can skip this step. But I want to put a little definition in there. But because this is a custom color, I don't really have a darker color that I can work up to a lighter color.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm using the Nuln Oil to make the base color darker. And we're going to go back over this and highlight it again with the same mixture. It's 3 drops of the deep sky blue, 3 drops of the blue-green. They both come from the Vallejo model color line, not the game color line. And you'll get this absolutely just spot-on Kiya blue.
Kiya blue.
I also did kind of a asymmetrical design with the trident there, which was hard for me.
I was kind of noticing this, and I was going to be like, that hurt your soul.
It did. I like symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate,
here comes a thing.
At this point, I'm basically just waiting for that wash to dry.
Yeah.
Because I was on a roll here with Kiya. I ended up painting her in 2 small marathon sessions in a single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ended up painting like the whole month's worth of minis in like 2 days because I just got in the zone. So we've got the Vallejo Black. This is doing all of the rest of the suit for the Omegas, basically. And you've seen a little bit of the Omega line, and since I've been monopolizing the entire video so far, because you've been elsewhere with the dogs and playing on your phone and ignoring us.
I have not. I did not play on my phone at all in this video.
What are your opinions on the Kiya Ranger?
I felt bad when Kiya became a bad.
By the way, we're highlighting the blue now. I'm just telling people what we're doing. We're highlighting the blue now with that same color.
Did you guys see that? Did you hear that? Did you all hear that? He asked me my opinion, and then he was like, "Oh, but wait, I'm doing this."
But wait, there's more.
I felt like they jumped in too quickly to Kiya being a bad guy. It made me less. I was not as shocked then when she went evil.
Did you happen to read any of the issues where they discussed, what were they called? I forget what they called the beings that had like the direct link to the Morphin Grid. From the Shattered Grid thing, Morphin energy was going directly into people without power morphers.
Yeah.
Kiya was one of them.
Right.
I forget what they called them.
They had a name.
My mind keeps going to Coinless, but it's not Coinless. That's what they called the Dracon's World folks. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. They had those Morphin Grid linked persons. And what kind of upsets me about Kiya going evil, especially as quickly as she did, is they made an implication that it was shockingly easy for somebody with that direct link to turn evil.
Right.
And they took the low-hanging fruit of doing exactly that.
I know, yeah.
Which was kind of a bummer.
Well, and they did it quickly. It's like she got disappointed. She was not happy with the way that they were saving people.
No, that's not what flipped her over. It was Tommy.
It was Tommy.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, that's right, because she met Tommy, wasn't able to kill him because that wasn't Drakon, but she had known Drakon.
And she's like, he is Drakon. There, you can't make him not Drakon.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if anybody's going to make you evil, it probably will be Tommy.
Can we put this out there? And I know we've made fun of Tommy Oliver,
a lot.
And this is a genuinely serious criticism. What a baby he is in the comics.
Oh God, he's so bad.
Oh my God, both him and Kimberly are written. And it's not bad writing. I actually enjoy that Ryan Parrott has done it, especially because I genuinely think Ryan Parrott's more of a fan of Jason than Tommy, based on how he writes. But Tommy and Kimberly are written off as so self-centered and so narcissistic that it's like, holy crap. I mean, they even put right in there when Zordon is talking to Jason about Tommy becoming the new leader. He's even like, I hope this doesn't offend you. I'm doing this because I think this will make Tommy grow up effectively, is what he says.
Yeah.
And Jason is already like, it's cool, Zordon. I'm two-timing you anyway with this whole side gig of saving the universe. So Jason didn't care. But no, he's written so just like such a whiny, entitled baby in the comics.
Well, the whole point of when he finds out that somebody else has got the dragon coin.
Oh, and he's all
butthurt over
he's all butthurt over Matt getting the dragon coin. He's all butthurt over Jason leading the Omegas. You didn't tell me. Oh, shut up. Just shut up, Tommy. I mean, it's dude. We got things going on. We're saving the universe. We don't need this crap from you, man. We really don't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, here's the funny part. Rita's 4 henchmen, because they even get what's it to join in.
Let's hold that thought for half a second. We've had on our recording thing, the video is frozen on us. I'm going to pause it real quick and jump us right back in without any real transition, just so we can get this back on track, so we don't screw up the actual video for you guys. Oh no, it kicked back in. Never mind. Okay, you may continue with thought.
Like they all transitioned to helping out the Rangers.
Reluctantly, except for Squat.
Squat was into it. He was like, "I get to be a Ranger." Woo!
But Tommy and Matt finally made some amends in the end of that run.
Yeah.
So we got our Iron Breaker coming out.
That's going to be the belts.
The mouthpiece. Because the Omegas have gold. And we got the black gray coming out. This is to highlight the black on the suit. All right, go ahead and continue.
They jump into being more helpful quicker than Tommy does. Tommy spends so much of this run, it feels like, whining about something.
Well, be it Matt or be it Jason didn't tell me, and Jason's like, Tommy.
Kimberly, he whines about the fact that Kimberly's ex-boyfriend is even in the picture. And it's just like, bro.
So I wonder if they're going to, in the comics, I wonder if the Omegas stick around. Is Jason still going to become the Zeo Gold Ranger? And if he does, who's going to be the new Omega Red? Are they going to let Matt become Omega Red? Something interesting about Matt is he's the only Ranger in the comics who doesn't wear his Ranger color all the time.
That's true.
He actually wears a lot of red because it's on his jacket. So they're going to make Matt the new Omega Red Ranger, or is Matt going to become Zeo Gold?
Or are they?
Or are they finally going to let Billy be a Zeo Gold?
I would be okay with Billy being Zeo. Because we thought there was that brief hint in the shows where they were like, oh, maybe Billy's come back.
Maybe Billy. Or, I mean, potentially Skull. That'd be cool. That was one of the original plans, too, making Skull Zeo Gold. That would have been neat. But yeah, it's just, he is portrayed, to me, it reads, and I'm going to be accused of bias, to me it doesn't read as somebody who needs a chance to grow into a leader. It reads as somebody who doesn't deserve the power he's been given.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that's for my own personal bias, because a lot of my personal bias, we do ham up for the channel.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. There's some things going on there, and I find myself so much less interested in the original Mighty Morphin team than I am in the Omegas / the Stone Canyon kids. So we've got our Retributor gold coming out. We actually are doing Retributor gold here because we're going to do some of the shininess, and we're just doing all of the gold on the costume in this Retributor gold. Use a thin brush for the helmet. Go slow, go steady.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race here. Just if you've been watching our videos for the run, you're not seeing anything new here.
Although this might be a good place because we have so many of those thin details. If you have a gold paint pen with a thinner thing that you enjoy,
you can use that here. Absolutely.
Now would be a good time to maybe brush that out.
Absolutely. Funny thing is, I'm more comfortable using a brush than I am a pen. Just because I've been using a brush for so long.
Yeah.
You do less painting than I do, so
yes, I like the pens. And
I don't dislike them, but for fine detail, even with a fine tip, I find I have more control of the brush.
My thing I do is I like the paint pens concept because it actually lets me do the freehand that I'm not usually good at.
Freehand is challenging in a third dimension.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we ranting about? Oh yeah, it's like Billy. They did a couple interesting things with him where he's kind of working more with Grace than he is with Zordon at this point. But honestly, Kimberly and Tommy can just go fly a kite in the way they act in the comics, and Aisha is just a badass. She is. She's a badass in the comics. I think they toned down Adam a little too much. He's a little too goofy compared to the Adam that we've seen in the show. But I think they got Rocky kind of dead on, and I absolutely adore the sparring session between Jason and Rocky. After the Omegas have been revealed for who they are and they're spending some time on Earth. So we're washing the gold with this Agrex Earthshade. I adore the sparring match between Jason and Rocky, where I think Ryan Parrott gave a nice nod to Rocky, saying, "You know what, you guys judged Rocky too harshly." And I mean, let's be honest. As soon as in the show, Steve Cardenas took over as the Red Ranger, they pushed the Red Ranger to the very back of the.
Yeah, well, and they had
and they didn't have a choice because nobody was going to accept
a new
replacement Jason.
No.
It just wasn't going to happen. So I love the nod that Ryan Parrott gives to Steve Cardenas when Jason's talking to him, and he even says to him, he says, you might, one day be even a better fighter than me. You might even be a better Red Ranger than me one day. And I love that little nod where Rocky's like, yeah, I can work towards that, man. And you get that nod from the predecessor.
Especially considering how much stunt work Steve Cardenas ended up doing.
Yes, he actually did quite a bit of stunt work on Turbo after he stopped acting in it, I believe. That's what I read. I assume that's true. Anyway, we're coming up pretty close to the end here. We got a couple more colors to do. Most of this video, you're not seeing a lot of new techniques we haven't done before. That's why we wanted to take some time to kind of talk about the characters. And we get, I won't say a lot because we don't get a lot of comments. Guys, leave me some comments. It helps. It encourages us to keep doing these. The three a week video schedule is draining on us sometimes. Comments really help keep us going.
They engage Chris so he doesn't talk to me as much.
It's true. It's wonderful. So we're going to pull out the Liberator Gold.
And give you the shinies.
I was actually asked why I didn't do her belt like I did the other Omegas, where I kind of made it look like multiple thin belts, whereas in the comics they are just the fatter belts like this, like we did here. I did it because I want to make a visual difference between her and the Omegas, because I may make her a possible choice in Age of the Grid. Even though she is a boss, we could put her on the Ranger team like we have some Rangers you'll be able to take on the Evil team.
Right.
I may make her a possible addition to the Omega team, and I want to have, other than her cape, which is obvious, and her base color, which will be the Screamer pink rather than the blue, like most Blue Rangers, I wanted to have something visual on the Ranger itself that hinted, she's not like the others.
Right.
And her belt is different. And that's something. And I may be overthinking that. They may be a whole lot of nothing. But for me,
so pretty.
For me, it works. That's what I'm interested in. But we've talked a lot about Kiya. We've talked a lot about Tommy. We've talked a lot of things. We haven't talked about high voltage wear in this video. Guys, go check out high voltage wear. Link in the description. It's Breeze, upscale, crazy, geeky, custom hardware, jewelry stuff.
Yes.
You need to come up with a better description. Anyway, like and subscribe for more content. Hit the bell button for notifications. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.